Hello, YouTube. This is Storm bringing you guys a review for the card Luna Snow. So Luna is a great card. If I can get to her, Luna is a great card. She is a 3/5 that adds in ice cubes to each side of this location. At the start of each turn, get +1 energy, then destroy this if your side is full here. So this is the deck that I've been running. Luna Scream, typical Scream package with Kingpin, Craven, Scream, Cassandra Nova, and Luna are the two cards that I added to kind of counteract the meta, and also to just kind of like fill in the gaps with this deck. If anybody has ever played this deck before, they know that there are some consistency problems with this deck. If you do not draw Scream, Craven, or Kingpin in turns 1 through 3, you're gonna struggle, because a lot of the times what might happen is your hand may look like this. You might have a Spider-Man, you might have a Polaris, you might have a Magneto in your hand, right? And you're like, okay, cool. Like, I have my movers, but I don't have my scalers, I don't have my affliction, you know, so that's the problem. So I find that on turn 3, if I happen to have a Cassandra Nova in hand, which is just a baseline great 3-drop, right? Or Luna Snow, which is what I'll get into in a second. It's just a great card to just kind of throw down, right? So let's say like on turn 3, you will place down a Luna Snow. Turn 4, you can do things like Scream, right? You can do Scream with Spider-Man, or Scream with Polaris, or Craven with Polaris. You could even do cool things like, let's say you have Kingpin and Stegron in hand, you could Stegron Kingpin. And plays like this are very strong when you're able to ramp them out with the Scream deck, because the problem is they can't go over the top. So those decks that can just kind of like bully them, like Surtur, Arisheim, a lot of these decks that can get really high, like really tall power wise, really kind of just run over Scream, right? And another great thing about Luna Snow is, right, when she summons the ice cube on the opponent's side of the field, it creates a 1/0 that you can now move with Polaris, with Spider-Man. You can even force situations where you can use Polaris or Stegron, or even Juggernaut, right? You can force these situations where you can force the ice cube to be put into a lane that they don't want it in, right? Or you can strategically place Luna in a lane that they're already trying to build up, so that, you know, they're forced to, oh crap, there's an ice cube here, they probably have 2 cards there, now it's 3, you know? Or if they already have 3 cards there, then you have free energy and they don't anymore. So she's a clogger, but these type of decks love that, because Scream is looking for something to scale off of, right? And the only net negative of moving an ice cube around that's just going to end up getting destroyed anyway is if you afflict it with just Kingpin, because there's no plus power there. But with Scream, every time you move that card, it's going to get +2. If you move it to a Craven location, it's going to get +2. So Luna creating this ice cube that you can then move is like really good. So you have your, you have your affliction, you have your 2 scalers, right? The reason why Cassandra Nova is really good in this deck is because I find that Arisheim is a deck that really counters Scream. That extra power that they have, the extra energy that they have, really lets them go over the top, especially if they have Arisheim Loki. Turn 1 Loki against you with this deck, surrender. Lose the 1 cube. It is not worth it. Arisheim is just too good. Now, the situations where it kind of works in your favor to kind of like fight them is if you see that they haven't Loki'd turn 1 or turn 2. If they Loki turn 3, you're pretty okay by that point, as long as you have your scalers out. But Cassandra Nova, even just being a general 3-drop against most other decks, is a really good just generic 3-drop. Surtur hates Cassandra Nova. Ongoing decks hate Cassandra Nova. If you don't have any play, you don't have any of these low cost cards in your hand, and you have Cassandra, play her on turn 3. Carmitage is a great location where I've won games because Carmitage is there. You know, that's double, you know, double stealing all the energy, all the power in their deck. You know, have a 3/14 Cassandra Nova for free. You know, it's pretty crazy. So with Cassandra Nova kind of countering a lot of the decks in the game, and Luna Snow kind of creating this pseudo clogging, and just extra energy in general, it allows these type of plays to counter Arisheim decks, Serta decks, you know, variety decks, and this lets me play higher on curve. So on turn 4, right, I mentioned the Stegron and Kingpin combo, the multiple 5 energy combos that you can do on 4. Now turn 5 is where it gets real interesting. You're now able to play your 6 cost cards. A Magneto coming out on turn 5 is devastating. If you have a Kraven down, if you have a Kingpin down, if you have any of these cards down, even without it, Magneto moving 3s and 4s is devastating to Silver Surfer decks, is devastating to Destroy decks. There's a lot of decks that run 3s and 4s, and putting Magneto out earlier is so beneficial because he can really mess up some of these lanes. And this is where the clogging becomes very important with this deck. If you find yourself in a situation where you're scared, okay, my Kraven is a 2/5, 2/7. Same thing with Scream. Scream might be a 2/5, 2/7. They're liable to get Shadow King. Use Magneto to block up that lane, or use make sure there's space there, right? At least one space, because you know they're gonna try and Shadow King you or Shang-Chi you. That's what Alioth is here for. Alioth is also the 6 cost 5 turn play that you want to use to just shut down a lot of the tech options that are out there to shut down these cards. Another great thing about this deck, Arrow. You find yourself in a situation where you Luna Snowed on turn 3, you now have a free Arrow. A 5/10 on turn 4 is amazing. And you can also use Arrow to strategically move cards around whichever way that you want. When this deck gets going and all the cards are in place, I have found myself to not lose a game. The win rate for this deck is about a 61%. Let me show you my current ranking. I'm at 83 currently. It is currently, I think, 10 Eastern Standard Time, the day that this patch dropped, this new season dropped. I'm gonna try and go ahead and get to Infinite tomorrow, but this is the deck that I'm gonna be running. This Luna Scream. I was super excited to try this out because I did think that Scream needed something else, and when I saw Luna, I'm like, that's a perfect example of something that Scream might need. You know, you get to ramp the cards out. It creates a target for your movers, right? And you know, cheating out of life is always great. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Please try this deck out. I'll leave the deck code in the comment section. I mean in the about section. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around.